I remember speaking to a leading female politician here in Westminster, and she told me the difference between men and women was that when a man's asked to do something, he says yes and goes home and thinks about it. When a woman's asked, she says, "Can I go home and think about it?" and then talks herself out of it. And I think that's probably one of the downfalls we have as females. We try to analyse everything. We try to say, how will this intervene in my family life? What more time will I need to give to it? And so we talk ourselves out of the proposition. And I think in many cases that's been the downfall of women, where women would be very capable of doing a number of jobs. They talk themselves out of it, where men will go along, whether or not they know a lot about the subject or whether or not they're competent in the subject, doesn't seem to matter. Once the position is offered to them, they're willing to grasp that and learn on the hoof, as we call it. Women don't seem to be willing to take that risk. Now, having been thrust to the top of the political position here, I found the first year here very daunting. I found it very lonely. I'm the only woman from Northern Ireland who have been elevated to the House of Lords, and so therefore I found it very hard to work. But I made up my mind I was going to try and represent Northern Ireland as best I could, and I also made up my mind this was an opportunity for women in Northern Ireland to actually show they could hold a position like this. I watched what people were doing. I went to all the training I could get. I learned computer, something I didn't even know how to plug in when I came here. I learned how to use a computer, which is very valuable in the work. And so you can do it, but you have to convince yourself of that. And I can remember many times in the first year going home to Northern Ireland and saying, what am I actually doing? Am I actually making a difference? Because I believe, I strongly believe women can make a difference, but I do believe we can talk ourselves out of it very easily. And so it's a question of holding the line, and it's not easy. And it's not easy for any woman that's going to break into the system. But it can be done. I'm proof of that. I think if you have a number of women there, that's a totally different, because you have each other. And in a sense, you can rely on each other. In a sense, what I don't know, I can ask someone else and be helped that way. It's scary when you're on your own. But certainly, if there's a number of women there, they can support each other. And it's amazing how, if you meet someone who's been through the system, and you're coming into the system and say, well, look, this is what happened to me, don't do this, do that, you do the other, and you learn the system quicker. I found I've always, all my life, I had been against politics in Northern Ireland, because politics was very divisive. If you said you were political, you were one side or the other, and all my life I stayed clear of that. But then I found in the 90s, certainly when we were coming into the talks and the peace process in Northern Ireland, I found that if I wanted to change the system, then I had to be part of that change. And so therefore, even though it was a big step, many women in Northern Ireland were prepared to step up, if you want, make a step change in their life. And you do have to make a lot of sacrifices, but if you really believe that you can make a change, then I think women do that very well. And personally, I think the most important thing to say to women when they come to hear of my experience is, first of all, to start from the fact that I don't know it all. I'm not one of these women who have broken through this glass ceiling we hear about. I'm a woman who, just an ordinary woman, who's had extraordinary opportunities. And it is about grasping those opportunities, because an opportunity happens and it's gone. Now, sometimes I've grasped opportunities and I haven't been quite sure what I was going to do with them, but at least I had them in my bag that I could use. And if they didn't turn out, they didn't turn out. So I would say to women who come to see me, number one, be fairly sure of yourself. I mean, have confidence in your own ability. Maybe you say, well, I don't have a great lot to offer, which indeed I say to myself every day in the week. But at the end of the day, I get up and I go forward and I do it. I also say to women who come to see us that, dream your dreams, because, a vision's only a dream without action. And so therefore, if you want to do things, do it. If it fails, it fails. But if you don't do it, you'll never know whether it has failed or succeeded.